Brett Okamoto from ESPN here at Rod Laver Arena in Melbourne, Australia. We are not far away now from UFC 234 main event. Robert Whittaker trying to defend that title on home soil against a very dangerous contender in Kelvin Gastelum. And Chael, that is the guy I want to talk about with you, Kelvin Gastelum. You know him very well. You picked him on the Ultimate Fighter. You were kind of forced to pick him on the Ultimate Fighter. He was one of the last picks, but he has come a long way from then. What does he have to do to beat Robert Whittaker?
Okay, like any fighter, he's got to find his range. Now, that becomes a little bit more difficult when you're taking on Robert Whittaker, who's moving in and out nonstop and jumping around. However, Kelvin is very good at it, even if he has to take a few punches, take a few kicks along the way. And eventually, if he can find that left hand, Brett, one thing we know from Kelvin's past is it certainly comes with the power.
Is this something that he always had naturally, or is this something that he has really identified as, this is what makes me good, I gotta perfect this?
He has always had an ability to step into what we call the fire, into the danger zone, where he can be hit, where he can have his night, and his night ended and his snooze button pushed, if you will, but he can also do it to the other guy.
So if that's what Kelvin has to do, Gil, in order to win this fight, is Robert Whittaker a difficult guy to find that range against? And if so, what does he do to make it challenging?
Yeah, I think Robert Whittaker is a very difficult guy to find in the octagon. His movement is one of his best weapons. He keeps moving all 25 minutes. You got to be in fantastic shape to do that. So look for him to move around, not being a sitting target for Kelvin Gastelum, and look for him to measure him up with his jab. He's left side heavy. He'll do his jab, his front teep. He'll kick your lead leg, and he'll kind of measure you up. As the rounds go on, he'll start throwing a little bit more power on that, start chopping the front leg of Kelvin Gastelum, start attacking the body of him to stop that forward pressure. And as the fight goes on, you'll see longer combinations. He'll start finishing with the heavy right hand. He'll start finishing with the heavy right kick. But one thing he said, he visualized his right hand landing in this fight. And I seen him hitting pads, and something he did really interesting was he did his right hand, and he'd roll left, which is rolling under the right hook of Kelvin Gastelum, which closes and traps you as a fighter. So look for him to stick and move and let the knockout come organically. He doesn't need to rush it or get too greedy in the pocket.
Guys, we've been breaking down this fight all week, and I haven't heard either one of you talk about wrestling whatsoever. Is this going to be a stand-up fight, or could we see a little bit of wrestling?
I'm going to take the fighter's word for it, and Kelvin Gastelum has said publicly, as is Robert Whittaker, that we're going to come out there and we're going to trade. Now, I know Whittaker's camp is saying he's looking for heel hooks and he's expecting to be on bottom. I think that is a default button if Kelvin chooses to put him there, and I don't think Kelvin's going to do it.
Gil?
I think Kelvin has the he's going to try maybe to take him down. But one thing I've seen about Whittaker, he's always been able to neutralize the wrestler. Yoel Romero, the Olympian, he's able to neutralize Jacare. Jacare got him down. He's able to slip out of the submission. So for me, it's kind of hard to think that Kelvin will be able to impose the grappling and wrestling on him right there. And don't be surprised if Whittaker tries to take down Kelvin. Whittaker is a well-rounded mixed martial artist, and I saw him drilling his takedowns himself. And we've seen Kelvin does really good on the feet, but when he lost to Weidman, he got taken down and submitted. And maybe he's not that good off his back. The champ might get the takedown as well. So we will see it, but they're so good at neutralizing the takedown, and most people are in the top level. It's really hard to impose the takedown.
Really dynamic main event. I have to say I'm probably looking forward to the co-main event more, and that is because of Israel Adesanya, everything he brings to the table, and the opponent that he's facing, of course. If you want to be the guy, you got to beat the guy. Anderson Silva has been the guy, 185 pounds for so long, even when he's going through tough stretches. Anderson Silva is still Anderson Silva. Chael, what are you looking for in that co-main event?
Okay, I really think that this is going to be a speed and a range battle, and I think while both of these guys are great on their feet, Anderson Silva is a little more dynamic in the counter fighting. I think that works against him. I like the offense and the aggression and the forward movement of Israel Adesanya. I think that is what is going to get him the victory.
Gil, if you were coaching Anderson Silva, what is the game plan to go in and beat this young guy who's getting all the hype?
Well, I would give Anderson Silva confidence. Remind him who he is. You are the spider. You're a tactical fighter. And for the first time, like Chael was telling me, this is the first time it's a striker versus striker. Only a striker. You don't have to worry about the takedown. So I'd say, Anderson, be elusive, be yourself, but let's test the boxing of Adesanya. He's a very good kicker. How can he do in the pocket? If you can bob his way in the way he does, keep his hands tight, and land some punches in the pocket, I think he could succeed. If he can get in that clinch, even pull guard, take it to the floor. I keep saying that, but I think he has that jiu-jitsu skill right there. But regardless, my boy Chael said it too, and I say it, this is a special moment. Seeing Adesanya trying to take the torch or Anderson Silva not letting it go.
Real quick, either one of you brave enough to predict, on record, the upset for Anderson Silva.
No, I like Adesanya. You know, history of the sport says that it favors the youth. I think that's going to be the case when this fight happens.
If I don't have to make a prediction, I am not going to make a prediction. I'm going to sit down and I'm going to enjoy this fight and just watch it happen and not put that pressure on myself. I want to just
respect.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Two big fights, and they're both in the same division at 185 pounds. Something tells me we are going to have a lot to break down and discuss at the end of the fights at UFC 234. Very much looking forward to it this weekend.